Hey everyone, I am back from San Diego Comic-Con. I only went for Thursday, but I was able to pick up the Maul speeder. This is, of course, the brand new Darth Maul figure with the speeder, something that was totally unexpected when this was revealed just recently. And then, of course, with the new battle droid and Stap, we are just like in prequel vehicle goodness right now. It's really cool to see, and it was really exciting to see product actually available on the floor at the con. You know, in the past couple years, the con exclusives have all just been online, and so being able to actually like leave the convention with something is something that I haven't experienced before since I only started going to cons after 2020. So that was really exciting. This backdrop here is actually quite nice. You might have to prop it up some way if you would like to choose to display something on here, but you know, that is an option. And let's look at the actual figure and speeder itself. The paint scheme here looks more reminiscent of the 3.75 inch release from 25 years ago rather than being screen accurate, which I'm not too crazy about, but maybe this will get released later on with a darker wash on it, just a different paint scheme, but I wouldn't count on that. We are of course going to look at the figure and compare it to the previous releases as well as the SH Figure Arts, but for now let's look at the speeder itself. And the color scheme here and the packaging are actually based on the 12-inch version that was released, not the 3.75-inch version like I thought. You can see it's still close, but that one looks a little bit more gray. It's largely just one big chunk. The handlebars are on some really tight joints here, which feels quite nice and smooth, and then the foot pedals here too have a really tight but still movable little swivel there. The base piece does plug in quite deep, which gives you a really nice, tight, smooth little pivot there. You can pop it out if you do want to replace this. I kind of tend to like to use black stands on my shelf instead of clear since I have black shelves. I think the clear tends to stand out more than just black. And of course, we have our first look at the brand new Darth Maul sculpt. There are a lot of soft goods happening here, which I'm not too crazy about. I actually think the outer cloak looks pretty nice, but this mix of fabric and cloth to make up a single piece of clothing is kind of an eyesore to me, and I've just like always felt that way. And the outer robes here do look really nice. They're tailored really well, and I have no complaints there. And for a figure that is packed in with a vehicle, I mean, soft goods are kind of the only option here. It's just not something that I would probably end up displaying on my shelf. I've tended to go for just like a sculpted plastic exclusive look on my shelf other than capes. Here's his little wrist gauntlet that he uses to control the probe droids, I believe. Quick little fast forward here as we remove the outer robe. Because it does connect under his armpits, you do have to raise the arms up in order to get that off safely. And yeah, this material on the waist just looks so bad. I don't have a better solution to offer, so you know, complaining about it isn't really fair. I actually do think that the original Black Series 1 handled this a little bit better, which we'll see in just a second. The articulation feels nice. You can get past 90 at the elbow here, as well as on the leg. The choice to have a separate tunic piece on top as an overlay is kind of interesting. They didn't do that on the first figure, and I don't really see any benefit for that. And the sabers here, they look nice. They are just a little bit gummy, which we could kind of tell from the photos. And the original release was part of the very first wave of Black Series figures, and it definitely has its issues. I do kind of like these sculpted robes here if it's just going to be sitting on the shelf, and you see how they kind of mix soft goods and sculpted plastic here to hold the skirt down a little bit more effectively. I think that actually looks better. And this one had that really unique design where the head was actually attached to the outer cloak, and an alternate head was used to create his uncloaked look. And I guess the idea to have the overlay on the new figure on the chest is just to give you a little bit of extra articulation, especially with the new butterfly joints there. But from what I can tell, every single piece of this is completely newly retooled. We're gonna fast forward again as we get this robe back on him. It is a little bit tricky with the arms. You do want to be careful just like that you don't rip the material. I didn't really feel like that was really gonna happen, but do be careful with the horns as well. They're quite sharp and they do catch on the fabric as you're pulling it on, and you could definitely rip it that way if you are just like pulling a little bit too hard. But he sits really well on the bike and it looks nice, and I can't complain about that. But let's take a look at some of the accessories that he comes with. He does come with a very plain looking probe droid. You know, these are mostly all black, so you don't need too much detail, but this antenna is very soft, so it might be a little tricky to keep it looking straight. And then it does peg in with a ball joint like we are kind of expecting here. And comparing to the SH Figure Arts release that came out a few months ago, the SH Figure Arts is definitely a nice, crisper, harder plastic like we're used to seeing, with a lot more metallic and paint detail there. But you are looking at a much more expensive figure, so that's sort of to be expected. And then the binoculars he comes with look just like the original release. I did misplace those, so I can't compare them. It is that slightly softer plastic, but they look fine. So I do want to compare Maul and the speeder to the SH Figure Arts, which was released a while ago. Definitely more expensive, but I love the choice of the sculpted plastic. This skirt actually comes with the speeder, and you switch it out with the original Figure Arts release. And I just think the paint deco, the color scheme here, everything just looks so much better. The articulation on Maul is better, and I've had that for so long that getting the new Black Series one just isn't that exciting. The robe obviously does look nice because we never see Maul on his speeder without the robe, and for some reason the SH Figuarts stand is just so high up. It needs to be just a couple inches off the ground, and instead it's like, you know, he's floating twice the height of the speeder. But anyway, I hope I answered all of your questions with this. This is assumed to be going up on Hasbro polls after San Diego Comic-Con is finished, so I think they just want to give everyone at the con a chance to get it early, and there goes the old Black Series one. I hope I didn't sound too negative in this. I am really excited that so many people are going to be able to get this now. As $60 price point I think is very reasonable considering that most figures are $25, plus you get the probe droid, and seeing this nostalgic packaging is just amazing. I never would have guessed, even just a year ago, that we'd be getting like 2 new Black Series vehicles from the Phantom Menace, which is probably the movie for which I have the most nostalgia, especially for the toys. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new, hit that like button if you did enjoy the video, leave a comment, let me know what I did wrong, or if you have any other questions about this release. As always, thank you all for watching. Here are some other videos from my channel that you might enjoy in the meantime, and I will see you all next time.